If you are if you're a chef, if you're a cook, you are into the food business or hospitality, this is for you. It's something that bothers me. It's something that has been on my mind for a very long time to talk about, but it has always been escaping my mind to talk about it. But today, I think we should talk about it. It is the way people mutilate, as it were, other people's meals. Like for instance, you want to cook afang soup, you use blender to blend the afang. There are only two ways to blend afang. Is either you use a mortar to pound it, or you use the hand blender to blend it. Do not put afang inside your blender and add water and blend it. That's not afang soup. You can do that with any soup that like okra, like ewedu, and of that, any slimy, watery soup. Not afang soup. Afang soup has a tradition. In fact, not just afang soup. Every other meal has a tradition. Every food you cook has a tradition. Every food you put on the stove to cook has a tradition, and is a tradition that you must honor. Is a tradition that you can't do without. You cannot cook ofoweri without basically understanding the tradition of maybe the Imo people or the aborigines of that food, the owners of that food. You can't. So I see people mutilate food all in the name of being woke, or all in the name of being classic or classical, or being, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why you would enter the kitchen, wear the chef uniform, and cook just and come out with something that mocks a person's tradition. You will never understand a person's tradition if you don't understand the ingredients and the effort that goes into making their meals. You cannot make amala or enjoy amala if you don't understand the Yoruba tradition. You cannot make afang soup or enjoy afang soup or vegetable soup from Akwa Ibom or Cross River without first and foremost understanding the culture and tradition of these people. First and foremost, Edikanyekong translates to fried leaf, to fry leaf. So it's an art. It's an art. It is not something you just put food on stove on fire, or put and bring all the ingredients together and you put water leaf. It's an art. So if you are a chef who has been trained in the art of cooking, first and foremost, try to understand the culture of the people whose food you're cooking. It will give you an understanding and to make you value the food you're cooking. Because if I am eating your food and you're not from my side, and there is no sense of culture and there's no sense of understanding of my culture, it will reflect in the food you have just cooked. I will know that this food is not being cooked from by an Akwa Ibom person or a Cross Riverian, or by a Yoruba person or an Hausa person. Food is a legend. Food is tradition. Food is a deity. Food is not something you just put, oh, it's nice. No. Some meals may not be as tasty as you want them to be. You could eat a meal from the Igbo culture and it doesn't taste the way your own tastes. It is because excuse me, it is because you do not understand their tradition. Therefore, you don't have the taste bud to appreciate the food from another person's culture. And sometimes these people do not have the ingredients you have. So they cook with what they grew up to see. So you can't condemn it. You don't cook better than any other person. An Akwa Ibom person does not cook better than a Yoruba person or an Hausa person. You only cook based on the ingredients and the tradition available to you. So when next you're in the kitchen to cook, do not criticize anybody's meal. Do not think that you cook better than them, and do not mutilate their food. Sometimes I feel like looking for you guys to just give you guys a piece of my mind. You don't mutilate anybody's food. Afang is not better than Ewedu. Ewedu is not better than Egusi. We are just sharing tradition. We are just sharing culture. We are just exhibiting, as it were, individual diversity and differences through our meals. So when next you're in the kitchen to cook, let that culture come on. Let that culture come into play. Let the culture of an Akwa Ibom person come into play. Get to know how they cook their food. Let the culture of the Hausa man come into play. Get to know how they cook their food. Because it is through their food that you can admire and appreciate their culture. Please, make I not catch you, they cook anyhow. I tell you.